So now let's talk about bubble sort. Okay, so I explained the theory portion, how bubble sort works, the actually working procedure of bubble sort, like the mechanism of bubble sort actually. So now in bubble sort what we are doing, look, just we have the array, we have an array, and I am getting the length of the array by using arr.length. Okay, now what we are doing, we are just iterating. We have an outer loop, again we have an outer loop. Okay, we have an outer loop, and outer loop always runs n minus 1 times the length of the array minus 1 times. Okay, so in this case also the outer loop will run n minus 1 times, and the inner loop, the like a running behavior or running nature of inner loop will depend on the value of I also. Okay, look how it will go. It will start from 0, it will go until n minus I minus 1, y we'll see, and then j plus plus. Okay, now we'll just excuse me, we'll just check that if arr of j, that means my current element, if it is greater than the next element, then we'll swap. And we know that that is the procedure, or that is the mechanism of bubble sort, that it checks the current element with its like the next element with the next element, and if the current element is larger than the next element, then it will swap. Okay, now let's not take a large, like this large array, let's take an array of let's take an array of 4 elements. Okay, 64, 34, 25, 12. Okay, again let me open Paint. Okay, so for example I have an array, index 0, 1, 2 and 3, 64. Okay, can we take some smaller elements, like what about taking it 5, and let's consider it as 1, let's consider it 1. Okay, okay, so not 64, it's 4, 3, 5 and 1. we are considering this array. Okay, now what it will do, it will check. Okay, I equals to 0, I equals to 0, and j equals to also 0. Now starting from here, so arr of j, that is 4, is 4 greater than 3? Yes, that means what I should do, I should swap. Okay, so I would swap. So there the value of the 0th index won't be 4 anymore, it will be 3, and the value of first index will be 4, because I performed a swap. Why? Because arr of j, that means arr of 0 is greater than arr of j plus 1, that is arr of 1. Okay, now second iteration inside this for loop. Okay, so now the value of j will be incremented, so value of j will be 1. Okay, 1, so 1 less than 1 is 1 less than n minus I minus 1. Let's check 1. What is the value of n? The value of n is 4. Okay, let me write, the value of n is 4, the value of I is 0, so n minus I minus 1, n minus I minus 1, that is 3, and what is the current value of j? That is 1. So 1 less than 3, so it will go again, it will iterate again, and now it will check arr of 1, is it greater than arr of 2? Is it? No, it is not. 4 is not greater than 5. Okay, now what will happen, it will again gets incremented, so now it will become 2. So 2 is 2 less than 3? Yes, again, so it will repeat this portion. So now error of 2, is error of 2 is greater than error of 3? Yes, error of 2 is greater than error of 3. So error of 2 is greater than error of 3, that means swap will be performed. Okay, so the value of second index will be 1 and it will be 5. Okay, now look what is happening. For the first iteration of outer loop, it was the first iteration of outer loop, inner loop completed. Why? Because now if the value of j is incremented by 1, if the value of j become 3, this condition won't be true anymore. Why? Because 3 is not less than 3. So this loop will break. We have to we have to come out from this loop, right? We have to come out from this loop and we'll come to this line. So this inner loop is completed once. Now we'll check. Okay, now we'll increment the value of I by 1. So what was the value of I? Previously it was 0. Now the value of I will be 1. Okay, and now I will check the condition. Is 1 less than 3? Yes, 1 less than 3. Okay, now again j equals to 0, again same thing, j equals to 0, j less than n minus I minus 1, j plus plus. Okay, now why I am doing j less than n minus I minus 1? I am doing it because look, for the first iteration, look what is the result of first iteration. The result of first iteration is my array is still not sorted, but I have got the largest element in my last index. I have got my largest element in the last index, right? So that means I need not to check the last index anymore. So now I can consider that the unsorted position of my array is from start to the second last. Okay, that's why we are putting I here, because now if you can see, now the value of I is 1, hence the value of n minus I minus 1 will not be 3 anymore, it will be 2. So now I will check only first, second and third, that means 0th, first and second element. Okay, that's why we are putting this condition here. Now again the same thing will happen, that is 3 greater than 4? No. Is 4 greater than 1? Yes. So look, again I am doing it again. Okay, so the value of j again it will become 0. So error of 0, is it greater than error of 1? No. Okay, j value will be incremented by 1. Okay, 1 is less than 2? Yes. Error of 1, that is 4, is it greater than 1? Yes. So it will be swapped. So there will be 1, the value of first index will be 1 and it will be 4. Okay, the value of second index. Okay, swap. Value of j will be incremented again, it will be 2. Is 2 greater than 2? Sorry, is 2 less than 2? No, absolutely not. So what will happen? Nothing, just the inner loop will break. Inner loop won't get executed anymore. Okay, now I will come to the outer loop again. And which portion of outer loop? The increment portion. Like I need to execute the increment portion. Okay, so the value of I will be incremented, so it will be now 2. Okay, hence the value of I is 2. Let's check, is it less than is it less than 3? Sorry, is it less than 4? Just a second, actually we need to check n minus 1. So n minus 1 is what? 3, right? So yes, the value of I is less than 3. Okay, again let's run the inner loop again. So I am running it. So now again the value of j will be 0 and the value of n minus I minus 1, that is n minus, what is the value of I now? 2. So n minus 2 minus 1, that is 4 minus 2 minus 1, that is 1, right? So the inner loop, this value, this portion will be 1 actually, right? The value of this portion. Okay, so let's check. The value of j is 0. Is 0 less than 1? Yes. So it will run again. It will check the first index with the second index, like the 0th index with the first index, and yes, they needs to be swapped. Why? Because 3 is less than greater than 1. So there will be like there one swap operation will be performed. So it will be 1 and it will be 3. Okay. Now look, complete. Okay, now the value of j will be incremented. Now it will become 1. Okay, now we need to check, is j less than n minus I minus 1? Okay, in this scenario, for this iteration, what is the value of n minus I minus 1? It is 1. So, and the value of j is also 1. So, 1 is not less than 1. Okay, 1 is not less than 1. So, the inner loop will break. Okay, so inner loop will break. Now, it's time for the outer loop. So, the value of I will be incremented. The value of I will be 3 now. It's not 2 anymore. It will be incremented. Okay, now we need to check, is the value of I, is the value of I less than n minus 1? What is the value of n minus 1? It is 3. So 3 is not less than 3. So this loop will also break, and look what I have got. I have got 1, 3, 4, 5. Look, my array is sorted. Okay, that's how bubble sort works. Okay, let me compile it. Let me run it. I think someone requested to join. Okay, so let's run it. Look, 1, 3, 4, 5. Clear? That's how bubble sort works. Is it clear? Now I will move to the second part of the array, that is two-dimensional array. Hello? Is there anything? Any doubts on anything? Okay, let me see. Okay, in bubble sort, do you have any problem? Okay.